Hi, welcome back to Canada CPA Online Academy. So last week I posted a video about how to debrief your cases and how to identify the gaps and how to make notes so that in future you can improve your score from RC to C. So today I'm going to walk you through one specific AO and what is the process and how to follow it. So that would help you to understand what exactly I mean when we say how to debrief. Now, this is an AO of finance. So it is a very common AO of like they will be giving, you will be given different financing options, and based on the objective of the company and the objective of the investment, what you have to do is you have to decide what is the best investment option. Now here it is a funding source, so loan, so funding option. So both AOs are very similar. Either it's an investment or a loan. So you have to rank based on the pros and cons and decide, like conclude, give your opinion on to what is the um, correct or your suggested option. Now, if you see, this is what you get when you when the cases are marked and you get the feedback from the CPA markers. This is how it looks like. So what is happening here is, so there were five funding options, and each option had an additional advantage and a disadvantage. And what they are doing is whether you have captured it or not. So the cross means you captured it. Now you will notice the column E and F, it is A and D. So A is attempted and D is discussed. So what is the difference is, attempted means you touched upon that point, but it was not sufficiently clear as to what you want to say, or you did not explain it thoroughly. So it remains in attempted. So you touched it, but it was not in sufficient depth. So it was lacking depth. Discussed means you have covered it all. You gave the case facts, you explained the pro, you explained the con, and you gave the conclusion. So that is the difference. Please note, this is a very important to note the difference between attempted and discussed. Now, what makes it C? Now we have to see what I scored for this is I scored RC for this AO. Now my initial thought is, okay, I scored RC. What makes it C? So you will see that candidate discusses several of the advantages, disadvantages of the potential sources of funds. And when do you get that? C is yes on funding sources and yes on balanced discussion. So yes on funding sources. Now, how do I get yes? That is here. When do I get yes? So you get yes if 7 are discussed across at least 3 sources. Okay, so yes, you will see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are, I have discussed almost 9 factors, but those were not in the discussed column. Those were still in attempted column. So when they were in attempted column, so 3 attempted that. So I went to partial. Partial made it to go to RC level. So my first aim is to understand what makes this partial to a yes. And that partial to yes becomes when I give discussed 7 points. Okay. Now see what is the feedback that I got. Okay. So you were assessed at RC for this opportunity. You did great job identifying several factors. See, I have identified various factors. The quantity as such was sufficient. I have identified 9 factors, 7 were required. So quantity was sufficient, but your analysis lacked depth as you did not explain why the factor should impact TinyCo's decision. In order to improve your response to C, you needed to speak some more advantages, disadvantages in sufficient depth. Depth could be achieved by explaining why the factor would be a pro or con specifically to TinyCo, incorporating case facts to support your point whenever possible. For example, you noted that with angel investor that the Zanes would lose control, but did not explain why this would be a disadvantage. Explaining how this could lead to the investor unilaterally making decisions that are not good for TinyCo would give you the required depth. So I noted that they would lose control. So the next factor is, so what? What happens if they lose control? If they lose control, they will not be able to take any decisions or will not have any say in the company's decision making factors. That is why you should not go with this angel investor. So that is what was missing. Now I'll show you what I had written. So I was running this I kept as a last AO, and I had literally 5 minutes to finish this AO. So I rushed into this AO. Uh, I made one mistake that I analyzed it in, I thought there would be calculations required. So it would require a quantitative annexure. That's why I started in the Excel. But then I later realized that there was no calculation as such required. It was just pros and cons and the decision. So I made that mistake that I put it everything in Excel and did not carry it through in sufficient depth. I referred to the annexure, but I did not carry it through in sufficient depth in my Word document memo part of it. So that is one thing. Wherever you are having a qualitative type of discussion, pros and cons, always do it in your memo. Don't do it in Excel. The markers would not prefer that as a preferred method of doing an analysis. So what I did, I listed 5 sources, then the term, interest rate, and what was the condition of the impact, what was the risk, and then I did the ranking quickly, like which one is the most efficient funding source. And then based on ranking, I said, based on the risk and conditions, it is advisable to go for the government grant option. Now the answer was still correct. Okay, the answer was correct that they have to go for a government grant option. But like that depth was missing. They needed 600,000 funding. Government grant provided them 550. So I should have noted based on the case facts that even if there is a 50K shortage, still it is advisable to go for. So there is a con, but still why you're advising to go for government con. So that detail would have given the depth for this grant option. Then similarly, like the one angel investor, I'm noting here that what is the condition that they want 60% of the ownership. Ownership of 60% would give control to third party. Okay, so what? So the so what factor that is important in explaining was missing in everything. So if I had written, okay, so what? So the TinyCo would lose decision making control and so on, and this would have qualified. So I was just missing one step of depth that would have put me to level of C. Now, as I explained in the previous video, please refer to that. Like you will get a package of the cases in Capstone 2, and it will have the ideal solution, like the full solution, the sample response, the annotated version, and for this kind of AOs, the pros and cons list is very big, huge in the full version. So what I'm referring to here is I'm referring to the samples, strong sample solution. So this person scored C on this AO. So I'm just checking what was missing in my answer and what was required to score C. Now see, it is not very much in depth. What this person has done is funding source, they need 600K. Okay, personal savings. What is the pro? They would be sole owners, but it would be risk because they would, if the business fails, they would lose all their savings. Now I had written that it are withdrawing from RRSP had tax implication. That was also right con. But if I had written that this would be considering the tax impact, the cost of that financing source would be higher. That could have been a con. So I just needed few case facts, little bit more depth, and explaining the so what. So what does that mean to you? So look here, like personal savings. This is the pro, this is the con. Cash mart loan, this is the pro, this is the con. I have also noted that, okay, it was extremely high interest rate, but I did not note what is the pro for a cash mart loan. So it is not a balanced discussion. That is what they are talking about. I have noted the con that it is a very high interest rate, but I have not noted what is the pro. So pro was that they are not losing the ownership. The ownership would be still there, and it is a full fund financing source. Same for angel investor. What will happen? Grant, whatever happen. And then final simple conclusion. Based on all this, uh, it would be advisable to go for the government grant. 50K is short, but they can use only that much part from savings or somewhere from else. They can source it, whatever your conclusion is. So it is not a very difficult AO to handle. It's just that you need to know what is exactly expected. So what was expected? You need to discuss all the funding sources. So all 5 funding sources, one pro, one con, and everything with case facts, uh, impact, and what will happen. So what? And a conclusion based on your analysis. That's it. No Excel was needed, nothing was needed. Very simple, straightforward AO, but I was not able to understand what was the requirement. So when I completed this debriefing, I noted it down that whenever these type of AOs come, like there could be investment option or there could be funding option. This is what is expected. Write a pro and con, write it for everything, and write it in these 3 steps and conclude. That's it. And then so from next time when I see that type of AO, my thinking line is very clear. I can like on the go, I can start writing that AO and finish it within the time limit because I know what is expected. So hope this helps to understand how the debriefing process works, and it would help you to form your own process and debriefing notes, and it would help you to move your score from RC to C to CD. And all the best. If you're new here, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, let it know to your study buddies, spread the word. If you have any questions, please mention the questions in the comments. I will try to answer all your questions in the next video. Thank you so much and have a great day.